Hi, and welcome back to the Global Holistic Coaching Podcast. My name is Gina Goodwin Riley. I'm a licensed clinical therapist, a master life coach, an attorney, a conflict coach, and a mediator. I also teach mindfulness and yoga. And today I'm here with
I'm Lisa Goodwin. I'm a yoga teacher, international yoga teacher for about 30 years now. I'm also a master life coach. I teach mindfulness, meditation, and also I am an advanced hypnosis coach.
Today we are talking about letting go. And why is it that letting go and starting new beginnings, even if it's what we want, as we enter the year 2025, new year, fresh start, there are all of these things that we may be trying to let go of, but why is letting go so hard? This comes up a lot with clients. It comes up a lot in our classes. And it's something that when we get to the New Year's and people get very goal orientated, it's coming up a lot in our courses that we teach. So what do you think? Why do you think that letting go can be so challenging, even if it's something that is bad for us? Of course, there's addiction, there's toxic relationships, there's career changes, bad habits, all of the things that we're trying to or need to let go of to move forward.
Yeah, I think, first we have to talk about the importance of letting go for positive change because, science, two things can't occupy the same space. You must let something go to make room for something coming in. And so I think, sure, we might know that change is good for us and we might know that we have to let go of a person, place, or thing in order, to move on. But I think it has to do with attachment, and it has a lot to do with, the story we tell ourselves about whatever it is, that we need to let go of. So I think checking in with, first of all, the story that we're talking, the self-talk, and then seeing how we could possibly rewrite that story where we could still feel our feelings. I mean, look, some things are just sad, and sometimes when we say goodbye to a person, place, or thing, we can feel some heartbreak. And it's important for us to acknowledge that, hey, letting go is sometimes very difficult. But again, I think it's going to be important to feel our feelings, check in with the self-talk, what we're telling ourselves, and then seeing how we could possibly rewrite that story. Do you agree, G?
Yeah, absolutely. And as you're talking, I'm thinking about how, oh geez, it almost feels like when we make a change in our life, that this whole new life we can see ahead of us, and that can be really empowering. But we're saying goodbye to something else. And I like what you said about how two things can't occupy the same space. It's almost like a reality jump or a reality leap, right? And
Yeah.
so sometimes when we're like looking forward and we can see the life that we want, the flip side of the coin is there's a lot of things that get left behind, and that comes up a lot in, like, for example, a career change. You may be scared to take a career leap, a career jump, because in a weird way, this whole version of you collapses. And that can be really scary. One thing that I like to point out about fear and how scary change can be is that fear is a very similar feeling to excitement. And nervousness, that nervous tension is so close to excitement that if we change our narrative about, oh, I'm feeling fear about letting go of this career, about letting go of this person, or about this whole world that's about to collapse, if you switch that subtly to, I feel excited about the change, that tiny little redefining of the emotion can be very helpful, because I think that excitement and fear are also two sides of the same coin sometimes, right? And it is inevitable. And I want to say that. So for clients or people out there who are listening to this, thinking about, there's this whole world out there for me, and I just don't know why I can't take that first step. I know I want it. I can see clearly. I can see what's holding me back, but it's hard to take that first step. I want you to know that you're not alone, that it's hard for all of us. And you are letting go of something. You are leaving something behind. As I, being a mom, my youngest child is getting ready to go to college. And for me, it feels like a chapter is closing. And while that is so exciting and wonderful for her, it can be really scary for me because that version of me, is coming to a close. And so I'm in it right now too in 2025. So, my question, I guess, too, would be like, how do you take the first step? Like, how do we inspire people who are feeling stuck or feeling like they're just not ready to close that chapter, to take that first step, to let go? Because that's the other thing I'm thinking of is like our past is kind of like a tether, but we have to let go of it sometimes to move forward.
I love everything you just said. And made me think about this cheese. This is about 25 years ago. I had read a quote from Deepak Chopra, and I probably won't quote it perfectly, but basically, he said that we as humans were so afraid of change because we're afraid of the unknown. And he said, but actually, it's the known we should fear, because in the known we're stuck. Like this is it. That's all we've got. But in the unknown, there's this infinite field of possibility. And I remember reading that when I was in a period of time that there was a lot of change, and it was scary, and that gave me a sense of adventure and a sense of hope, and just what you had said, Jay, about fear and excitement is that similar feeling, and it helped turn my fear into that excitement. And so I think again it goes back to the story, being able to shift it to the unknown and to this infinite field of possibility, and to open up to that.
That's so important to take into accountability how we're kind of wired to avoid change at all costs and
Yeah,
play it.
yeah,
That might be, part of evolution, taking that step to leave the tribe or whatever the case may be. Maybe that we're wired that way for some reason. There was a study, and I'm trying to think of which university put this out, but there was a study and it clinically proved that people would rather be in pain and do the same thing if they could predict what was about to happen than take
sure. Yeah, yeah.
on that even when zappers were involved, they'd rather be zapped than take a chance and open a door to see what was behind the other door. So
Mhm.
that's something that we need to face too, is that we're all kind of wired in that way that change can be really confronting and it can be really challenging. And I think that is that evolution leap, that is that kind of consciousness leap, or like I was saying, reality jump. It's like we have to level up ourselves to understand that, okay, just because something's hard, just because we're feeling a certain kind of way, doesn't mean we shouldn't do it. And I think that's the misconception, and as a therapist, this is going to sound confusing to people, but sometimes our feelings aren't right and our feelings aren't even valid. Sometimes our feelings can be very misleading, and that's confusing, right? Because we think that if we're feeling scared or we're feeling sad about something, that we shouldn't do it, even if it's what we want or even if it's logically the best choice. And so in that process of kind of thinking through what's holding us back, it's okay to feel the feeling and do it anyways. And we do have a podcast on this, but I think in 2025, this is something that we'll revisit, is the difference between following that intuition and that higher sense of self versus these kind of more animalistic human emotions that can hold us back and mucky the waters.
It's kind of like if you're driving on the highway. I think we've all done this at some point where we take the wrong exit. And um, are we going to stay on that, wrong exit and keep going miles and miles and miles out of our way? Or are we going to recognize that we're on the wrong road and we need to let go of the road that we're on, actually, find our way back and continue our path? I heard recently, and I really liked the way this was worded, how the question was, how quickly can you respond? Like, how quickly can you get back on that right road? Like when something doesn't go your way, basically. either you had a plan that didn't work out, a job, a relationship, and you really had your heart, set on something turning out a certain way, and then it doesn't. Like, how quickly are you able to bounce back? And the way this was worded was, consider that when something doesn't work out the way you had hoped, you're just being rerouted, and you're going to perhaps end up in a better place or in a better situation, and to be open again to that infinite field of possibility. So how quickly can we accept, whatever it is that we have to let go of, and recognize that we're just being rerouted, and we can't take whatever it is that we want to take with us on this next chapter. And so I think the more we can get into that mindset, the more change becomes not only doable, but enjoyable.
I'm thinking, there's some ancient wisdom in this, right? Buddhism teaches us how important it is to not be attached, because everything in life is temporary, the good and the bad, and so part of the human experience and developing those kind of tools to live a human modern day life without it destroying you, quite frankly, is
Yeah.
being able to pivot, to move forward, to get knocked down and get back up again, to let go of the things that you thought were a certainty, right? How many people are like, in a relationship, think that they've met the love of their lives, they're married or whatever, and they realize this person had this whole other life, right? Or we think that we are going to stay in the job or stay in the home or stay in the community, and then an earthquake happens, or
Right.
we get fired, or we get pregnant, or whatever the case may be, right? Like, life comes at you. And so that kind of secret sauce of being able to say, okay, I thought this was what was going to be best for me. I have to either lean into my belief systems that there's a higher power out there that's got my back, or that I have, some faith in fate, or whatever the case may be, or at least trust that I'm strong and resilient enough that no matter what comes at me, I'm going to be able to face, and I'm going to be able to grow from it, right? And that's kind of what you were talking about earlier, is like the story and the power of the reframe. Like, just because something doesn't work out, it doesn't mean what you think it means. And when you get through it, it can mean that you're very resilient, you're strong, and you realize there's this whole other version of yourself that was laying dormant that had a chance to come forward.
Oh, so I've got a perfect example here, G. You were just talking about, this whole change of your youngest daughter going off to college, who happens to be my granddaughter. Okay. And so what about when you went off to college? And as your mom, which I wonder how many people out there don't know that I'm your mom. So, yeah, I mean, as sad as I was, what got me through that time was just thinking about this new life that you were going to be exposed to, and who you were becoming. And that's what we do as moms. We focus on, who our kids are becoming, and what their opportunities that they're going to be able to explore. And then who knows? Next thing, you and I are here right now at this chapter in our lives, and I couldn't enjoy more, who you've become in the relationship that we have. So if I had kept you as a teenager, I wouldn't have you now. So I needed to let go of that chapter as you were exploring and growing, because it was replaced with something amazing. And that's the same thing that will be happening to our baby girl, who is now going off to college. So, again, it's just having the faith that this or something better is manifesting for me now. And so it is.
That's right. That's right. And, for the record, this is my second child going off to college. So I did feel that grief and sucker punch already, and, are powering through it. And I love what you're saying, is like, everything is a flip side of the coin. When they leave the nest, they are, all of the wonderful things that are coming is going to be what we lean into. Um,
Mhm.
I just keep thinking of that song, like, I get knocked down, but I get up again.
Yeah, yeah, yes.
It's
Yeah.
like, and I'm wondering like what my secret is because I've always loved change. I'm like a weirdo that way where like,
Changes when you're a mom. And by the way, you do have a sister, so I went through it twice as well. But yeah, I mean, look at this is where, there's different degrees of the letting go and the different attachments. And it is different, with different people and different circumstances. But I know of people who have been in a career position, for a lifetime, and then there was a change, and they went through an identity crisis. I mean, there's all sorts of letting go, but I really do believe that the underlying principle is the same regardless of the depth of whatever it is you're going through. I think we need to acknowledge, our association to pain, and we'll do more to avoid pain than to gain pleasure. I'll tell you something funny, and this is a true story. So I had a client years ago who was said that they would rather be miserably married than single because they were, no, really, because they were so afraid of being alone, being so afraid of getting back dating again. So even though it was a, unhealthy relationship, the fear of change was so strong that this person stayed stuck for many years. However, they were able to embrace change and letting go of, oftentimes when the marriage ends, it's letting go of a dream, that you had hoped for. But now, happy ending, both people in the relationship are doing very well. So, and it was very harmonious, by the way, the separation, and they ended up supporting each other and went different ways. So, yeah, I mean, it's just, I guess it's evolution, as we evolve, we start to look through a different lens. And that's what we're doing our best to help everyone with these podcasts every week.
that's right. And, life is hard and life is challenging, but don't give up and keep that hope alive and know that there are tools out there for you. There are people out there who can help you. We have some wonderful courses that we offer on our website, www.globalholisticcoaching.com. We have an upcoming life coaching course that is offered online. A wonderful way to start 2025, where if you're thinking about making some powerful changes, it's become a life coach or learn to think like one is how we describe this course. It's a very powerful course, so check it out on our website. We also have a international wellness retreat coming up in Costa Rica. It is a transformation retreat. What do we say? It's 1 week that will last a lifetime. The two of us will be teaching.
Yeah.
Yoga classes, meditation classes. We'll be offering wellness workshops, life coaching circles, the Ayurvedic, all you can eat buffet is included. That is also on our website. And if you haven't already, go ahead and like and subscribe to our channel. A, it helps us grow so we can keep offering free content to all of you guys. But B, that way you'll be alerted on our weekly podcast. And we also have a 2025 special. It's a 21 days to transformation with self-love workshop for $21. It's all online, so it's easy to download. Go ahead and check that out. That's also on our website. And if you have any questions, go ahead and drop it in the Dropbox below. Or if you're listening to us on Spotify, you can hit us up, Gmail at globalholisticcoaching@gmail.com. And as always, thanks for tuning in.
See you next week.
Bye. I get knocked down, but I get up again.